This is the second half of the Solana 1 month overview reading for October 2025, the second half of the month. We're going to do the day-by-day sequence of chart events. Remember, it's plus or minus, in some cases, plus or minus a day or two of wiggle room. It's a sequence of chart events that's most important to follow. And this is a good example. Not my best work. It's not holding up to par as far as timing the low and the high, like the Bitcoin October readings, like on point. This one, I knew there was going to be something screwy going on because it was so different. The fact that we didn't have a lowest low here on the second third as originally expected, that means that's very likely a highest high for the month. And then that would put a lowest low somewhere around the 19th or possibly at the very end of the month. Excuse me as I update this markup. This markup, the colors and shapes, transparencies, they all have meaning. It's a visual language of ESO meta-analysis, which allows me to read a lot of information on top of itself, which is how we get these detailed readings. It's kind of like deductive reasoning, where there's only one, after you put all this stuff together, all this information on stacking on top of each other, there's only really like one or two scenarios. So anyways, back to what I was saying, we most likely have a lowest low there, or possibly at the end of the month. Hard to say. If that ends up being the case, it might actually just follow the Bitcoin chart pretty well, which it's kind of doing. But my sense is that this is going to break down more than Bitcoin. There's very likely a lowest low here around the 19th, 20th, or the end of the month. And if that's the case, then this wouldn't be a highest high here between the 22nd and the 26th. It's more likely to be just like a prominent peak that'll stand out in the midst of a decline. This is something when you have a scenario like this is really where you want to be following along with our Discord, because you can ask questions in real time, keep us up to date when things get a little confusing. But with that said, guys, the sequence of chart events still pretty solid. Move to the upside, flattening out at resistance, declining, increasing consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. A resistance level that we decline from and return to, decline from and return to again. And then on the 6th day off, we have this trough on the 6th, ends up being on the 7th. We rally back on the following day, and then a sharp decline on the 8th. Excuse me, on the 9th. It's pretty accurate day by day. In any case, so for the 13th, we've got this important cross-reading congruency going on here in early October. So we're likely to have a move to the upside and then like a break back down, like a pop and a drop. There's a peak and a trough within close time proximity to the 14th within some erratic behavior. So it's likely that the 13th is a bit erratic. The 14th is much more erratic. And in the midst of that erratic behavior, we should see a prominent peak and a prominent trough, a significant decline increasing with momentum moving forward in time. And we'll revisit an opportunity that we recently saw there. This is likely going to be like we're revisiting a peak or crest, and then we decline into a trough. The following day on the 15th, another decline through multiple support levels. A move higher, full retracement on the 16th, creating a prominent trough and peak. We attempt to establish support on the 17th with sideways rotation, equal amounts of bulls and bears, inflow and outflow. Towards the cusp of the 17th, 18th, we have a big move from bottom of the range to the top of a range that starts out of a decline. Sideways rotation, or sideways fluctuating rally on the 18th, proceeds a sharp decline into the 19th, with a prominent peak and a prominent trough within close proximity to the 19th. Yeah, there's an opportunity. When we see this move, we attempt to establish support here around the 17th, and then with sideways rotation, and then there's this big move to the upside starting out of a decline around the cusp the 17th, the 18th, from taking us from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. That's where I'd want to get into a short position for a swing trade where we'd exit out of the short. You could easily exit out of the short on the 19th. I would do the 19th because it gets kind of like price swingy. It might go a little bit lower on the 20th, but it's price swingy. So I would want to see a significant trough, possibly a lowest low, and exit out of that short position for a nice profit. Early in the day on the 20th, a big move to the upside. And it looks like we have a peak towards the end of the day, followed by a drop, some price swings, a drop into a trough around the cusp of the 20th and the 21st, within some price swings back to a peak towards the end of the day on the 21st, and then a decline off of a peak on the 22nd, prominent peak, a decline off of it, pretty sharp, taking us into a prominent trough, a decline increasing with momentum moving forward in time. A lot of price change covered on the 23rd into and or out of important support level on a multi-day scale. And so to give you an idea of how to read these, this is the preview card from the September reading for October's preview. So that energy carries over into the October reading, and we see it in various locations. There's a cross-suit incongruency here, so this should be a pretty significant move to the downside out of a peak. It could be a highest high. It depends on how crazy erratic the trade gets. But if we have a lowest low for the month thus far here, then I would say this is much more likely to just be a prominent peak. What's a prominent peak look like? Like on this chart right now, this is the highest high on the chart. This is a prominent peak, right? So, but from that peak, a significant decline through multiple support levels on the 24th. A little bit of a move back to the upside, followed by a retracement back down. We're creating like a new peak after lows there on the 25th. Rally continues along a diagonal trend line on the 26th, but ends with a big move faster to move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line. So we have a prominent peak and a prominent trough on the 26th. A move higher through key resistance on the 27th, followed by a full retracement. We break the resistance momentarily, turn around and break back down through it with a full retracement. On the 28th, a crest will turn over and will break down to and through a support level. We'll do a U-shaped reversal below that support level. We'll break up through it to the upside and reuse it as support. Very mixed a very mixed downward kind of day on the 29th. That's a correlation. This thick translucent yellow is the indication of a correlation to the preview card from the September reading. So there could be a decline there with multiple support levels. A crest on the 30th, we sell off from a peak or a crest on the 30th. It's likely to be near overbought or overbought, and we'll sell off from it through multiple support levels. There's a failed attempt to break through key resistance on the 31st, followed by a decline through key support, increasing with momentum on the way down, and very likely a lowest low there as well. But it looks like we have a notable reversal in November, guys, so I wouldn't be too worried about Solana in the long run. When we look at the 1 year, guys, we pretty much nailed it. We said that we were going to be, the overall theme, we'd be dealing with an important resistance level that we failed to break through many times. And you can see how we hit it 1, 2, 3, that important resistance level we were failing to break through many times before. But I had a high at the very beginning of the year where I had lows in April and May, and then I had highs coming back up here in November. So the decline really out of the high, the decline out of the October high offers opportunity to open up long positions, guys. This is very, very bullish. Likely to see a year's high in November. Really, really solid. If you're wondering when the Solana 1 year reading was created, the shuffle file was all the way back on March 3rd of 2024. Like, that was March 3rd of 2024 when we created this reading, guys. And we'll put at the end of this video, we'll have a link to the 2025 Solana reading, so the original reading, so you can see when it was posted. So by opening up long is probably the opportunity on a multi-day scale to open up long for like a move higher into November is probably going to be in early November, based on what I'm seeing. No, actually, the lows here are opportunity. So if we're at a lowest low here, I would open up a long position around the 19th, 20th for a multi-day swing. It's just, remember, you're also in a short trade here, but if we see a lowest low around the 19th, you're closing that short and opening up a long for a multi-day swing. I'm gonna sneeze. I'm so sorry, guys, for the lack of editing. Cucumber. And then if we have a lowest low for the month here on the 30th, I'd add to that long position, guys, for a multi-day swing. And that's Solana for October 2025, or at least the second half. Much love and appreciation, everyone supporting the channel with the monthly access subscription. Blessings to all my angel investors. You guys are the reason why I do this, guys, because the people who are following through on the rule of karma are showing the utmost level of integrity, guys. And you're seriously helping out the channel and the world. So much love and appreciation to all, and blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.